Well, welcome back to the broadcast. If you watch our show, then you've probably tuned a little early and seen our next guest on the air. His name is Mark Davis, and you can hear him on 6:60 a.m. The Answer weekdays. But this guy's also an accomplished author with a new book out called Lone Star America. Welcome, Mr. Mark Davis.
Thank you, Ms. Amy.
It's so
Isn't
good
this great?
to finally meet you.
I get to come into this building every once in a while, but usually it's a disembodied experience with y'all's cameras in my radio studio, so this is much better. I love it.
And as I'm coming into work in the morning, you're still on the air, and I get a little peek into what you're doing on the radio. So it's interesting.
So you guys are prepping for the broadcast, and I'm harping about something on the radio.
You are.
I'm doing Obamacare while you're trying to get something done.
But see, you give me a little fuel for my fire. You and I think a lot alike.
I live to serve.
Being a Texas girl and a strong conservative myself, I enjoy a lot of your viewpoints, and I take a little heat sometimes on the show. I mean, I've even said things like Texas ought to become its own republic. They laugh at me, but I think there's some validity and some truth to that. We're talking in this book about how Texas is setting an example for America. What prompted you to write this book to begin with?
Look at what, in those mornings of hearing me wax eloquent about various things, there are themes that keep coming up, that the country is messed up in some ways, and there are things that we ought to do. Right. They involve taxation, they involve less spending, they involve the Second Amendment, they involve borders. And if you make a list of the things that at least the conservative folks want to do to get our country less screwed up, it tends to be a list of things that Texas has been doing for about 20 years. We've had delicious one-party rule for about since about 1994, and I don't think that it's an accident that Texas is doing so well. No. That we're not just surviving, but thriving, and we're not just thriving at any old time in history. Right. We're thriving under Obama. This is noteworthy, and it's not by accident. I thought maybe some other states could learn some things. Maybe the country could take some guidance as well.
And exactly, if you can thrive under Obama,
you can thrive anytime.
Then you could probably. Why do you say Texas is the last best hope?
There are two things there: last hope and best hope. I'm not going to go to the ledge and say that we're necessarily the last hope. Like if we can't get our act together now, we're all going over the cliff and hey, see ya, it's been nice, but bye bye. But I think we are the best hope for achieving a real American renaissance. That if states like New York and California can just get over, they can get off the crack pipe of high taxes and crazy regulation and enormous expansionist government, then they can do what some other states are doing. I mentioned some of these states in the book. I give them their own chapters: North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Indiana, North Dakota, which is getting an enormous amount of oil and gas out of the ground. That's another big part of it. Don't be shy about bringing energy out of the ground. We obviously need it. Exactly. And so if there's some things that other states can learn, they will improve their lot in life, and the country will get better too. We'll create jobs. Right. We'll have more domestic energy. Right. And maybe just have an overall better vibe, creating some better times on top of these last few years, which have not been great.
Right. Well, I'm super proud that our state is representing so well. I even have some really good friends. They were neighbors first, and then they became our good friends, that moved here about 4 years ago from California. The reason being is because he's a business owner, and they were just getting annihilated by taxes in California.
Do you know how much company they have and how many? I mean, listen, it seems like every week Governor Perry is out there. He ran radio ads. I tell this story in the book.
I know.
You could be driving around in Sausalito or Silicon Valley listening to your favorite Jackson Browne song on a station, and then there'd be an ad come on the radio. Hi, I'm Rick Perry. Is it kind of hard to start a business here in California? Come on to Texas. Yeah. And people are driving their cars off the road, they're speed dialing. People say, can you believe what I just heard? And it's because the facts are on his side. Yeah. There's a little thing called the U-Haul Index, and an economist came up with this, the U-Haul Index. They took a look at what U-Haul charges to load up a U-Haul to go from Los Angeles to San Antonio. Los Angeles to San Antonio is pretty expensive. A lot of people are making that move. They want to cash in. San Antonio to Los Angeles, they'll pay you almost. It is a lot less because there's a lot less demand for going from Texas to California. They figured that was a good marketplace way to show where people are wanting to go these days. And people are tripping over each other to come here.
They are.
And there's no mystery as to why.
All right, that's right. All right, what are the three things you would do immediately to have the same kind of success as Texas and another state.
If I'm running another state or running an entire country,
Three things.
And we're going to start looking for people to run the country pretty soon, be really, really bold about bringing energy out of the ground, create a business-friendly environment, and create an atmosphere. We don't have to have, I mean, we have a big Christian influence, big religious influence. And we don't have to have everybody forced to believe that, but at least have a welcoming atmosphere for people of all faith, have a welcoming atmosphere for people of all races, have a welcoming atmosphere so that we can have diversity naturally occurring. Don't tell people where they have to live. More liberty, less taxation, smaller government, kind of like the Founding Fathers intended.
Exactly. That's almost exactly what our country was built on.
That's the model.
All right, final question. What would you have people who live in a heavily Democratic state, what would your advice to them be?
It's kind of funny.
Because you know there are those poor people out there.
We could have them call those U-Haul people I just mentioned. Or better yet,
already dialing the number right now.
Better yet, because actually the book is not designed to have more people come to Texas. Are you kidding? I just drove over here. I don't know if I want more people in Texas.
Well, I was going to say, when you were talking about Governor Perry, I was going to say, oh.
We finish 8-laning a highway, and just when that project is done, we need 12.
Yeah.
You know, so it's crazy. So what I really want to do is let's have other states learn our lessons of lower taxation, tort reform, more sensible regulation, so that they can enjoy success and they can be success stories too, just like we've been.
Mark Davis, way to represent.
God bless you. This is so awesome.
God bless you. Way to represent our state.
Love watching you guys.
All right, you can pick up a copy of Lone Star America wherever you buy your favorite reads, and we are back with more broadcast right after this.